Welcome to Hardback Life.
It's time for stories, sass, and strong opinions.
Let's turn the page. Guys, welcome to another episode of Hardback Life. It is just me this week. Becca she posted it on our Instagram. She had a bridal shower. I forgot the word. She had a bridal shower for one of our book club friends, but I've said this before, Becca knows everybody from the book club from outside of her life. So they're best friends. So it was her bridal shower in North Carolina. So she had to drive all the way down this weekend. So we weren't able to, and we both had crazy weeks with work. I guess technically now it's last week. So we weren't able to squeeze in an episode together. So I know what the episode's going to be about. But yeah, so she'll be back. So this comes out Tuesday. So she'll be back next Tuesday, I guess. Yeah, in a week. We'll record together later this week. And then we kind of have our sessions just because work is picking up for both of us. We kind of have our recording sessions planned out for the next month or so. But we've also told you guys, we are not the best at sticking to those. We haven't planned, maybe this is going to help. We haven't planned what we're recording about, just when we're recording. Because sometimes we plan what we're recording about, and then we go the day before and we're I don't really feel like talking about this right now. And we pick something totally different. So that, at least we have our days, and then maybe later, closer to each time, we'll talk about what we're going to record. So I can't today be here are all the topics coming up, because we don't do that. But I can tell you some stuff we have coming up. So we haven't announced it on Instagram yet. There'll be an official announcement, but we're going to be at Oddbirds in Bel Air, Maryland, for Threshing Day, the Threshing Day release. She's Jess, who we've had on the podcast. We've done her grand opening of the bookstore, and we used to go to her pop-ups a lot. We love Jess, but we're going to her shop for a Threshing Day event. So on the day that it releases. And then for the ACOTAR release in October, so that I think is October 1st, or it's the end of September. It's really close in between where they meet. And then for ACOTAR, for the midnight release, we're going to be at Sweet Nothings, which is another pop-up bookshop, pop-up bookshop gone full store. If that's how you want to say it, that we've worked with before. We did her last pop-up. We worked with her. And then for her grand opening, we also love Jade. So we're really excited about both of those. I mean, I have my feelings about Threshing Day. I am excited for it just to be back in that world. I did see somebody say, what if Threshing Day was from the dragon's point of view? And I kind of love that. I don't think it will be. That's not a thing. It was just somebody talking about Threshing Day. And they're what if it's all the dragon's point of view? And I think that would be so funny. Imagine Taryn's just oh, God damn it. I don't think we're going to get theirs because, unless it is dragons POV, then maybe we would. But I just think it would be so funny. And then I'm super excited. You guys know I can't wait for ACOTAR. I'm so excited. It's my whole personality. That being said, if you also like ACOTAR, you should go back to last week's episode with author A.A. Gordon, where we talked about her. Well, we talked about both of her series, but mainly The Heart of the Tithriel. I would say if you're an ACOTAR lover, you're going to love that, because I do. I'm obsessed. I love it. Go watch it, then go read it. Do it. My mom just downloaded all of them because I can't stop talking about them. So next I have to convince my sister to read it. And Becca's on the verge. I don't think she's downloaded it yet, but she's going to, because I'm not going to stop. And she was very intrigued when we were talking last week. So we'll see. Anyway, lately, what have I been reading? I've been reading mostly ARCs. I finished the Larry David one that I talked about on the episode with A.A. Gordon. Was that the only other one that I had? And now I'm reading Missing Girls and Lost Boys series. It's really good. I'm reading it through the Rattle the Stars PR team that we're part of. I'm really enjoying it. There are some little qualms I have with it so far, but I'm overall really enjoying it. The chapters are really long. So when I'm really tired after work, it's a hard one to commit to. So the last couple of days I have not been reading it. And I miss it. I do want to get back to it. It really no judgment on the book as far as that goes. It's just work. And then audiobooks, I've been listening to a lot of Frida McFadden, slowly trying to get through hers. I just listened to The Coworker, and I don't know why. That's when I kept reading the synopsis about, and I was this doesn't sound that good, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to read this. And finally it was one of the ones that was available now through Libby. And I listened to it, and it's top tier, guys. I really like it. I don't know why I got those vibes from it. Definitely worth it. I don't know what I was thinking. I also read The Locked Door. That was another one that I was meh about. That was a good one. Not top tier for her, but I still enjoyed it. There was one I literally just said, Never Lie. Never Lie was also a good one. Yeah. The Coworker and Never Lie. Those were they're like two top tier. I literally just said that Do You Remember was probably my favorite from Frida, but then I read those two and now I don't know because they're both really good. I don't know. I can't pick now, but they're up there. So Missing Girls and Lost Boys is my arc that I'm doing. I just got approved for another arc through Rattle the Stars PR. And it's another one by Kennedy Rhodes. And I read her Uprooted and Untangled, the alien romances, and I really enjoyed them. This one's a witch one, so I'm excited about it. Yeah, but that's it, really. I'm waiting for Andrew to read Scenes from a Memory so we could do that episode together. I'm really excited about it. I listened to the album. I'm going to keep my comments to myself about the album until we record, but the book was different. That's all I'm going to say. Stay tuned for all of that, my friends. Anyway, today's episode, I feel like we just got to do it, guys. SJM made her big announcements this week. We got to talk about them, especially because I'm obsessed with the series. I have theories. I have things I want to see. I have something I noticed that I don't know where it's going to tie in, but I just noticed it. So that's what today's episode is about. So quick background. I'm sure if you're listening, you have already heard the announcement about book 6 and 7. Both have their titles released, their covers released, and their tagline, I guess you could call it, released. So the covers are ombre, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's kind of cool. And my guess is the ombre does match other books in the series. I think one is the orange from Silver Flames and the green from Mist and Fury. So it does match. And then I forget what the other two are. Yellow? No, that can't be right. Blue and pink, maybe? Blue and pink. So I wonder if they're ombre because they're blending multiple SJM universes together. I'm just going to say this now. If I didn't say it at the beginning, spoiler alerts. I'm going to be broadly talking about the SJM universes, Massverse, whatever you want to call it. Broad trigger warning for all 3 series. I'm really going to try not to, but there are things I have to. So just broad trigger warning. I'm not going to say it every time I'm about to give a trigger warning. This is your trigger warning. A spoiler, but this is your warning. So the first one, book 6, is A Court of Splintered Harmony. That's the one that comes out in October. And the tagline is, What was broken will be remade. So I know the cauldron's technically broken. There's that. Let me actually introduce both books because I'm not sure where in each, which ones I think are going to be what. I do think because this is the shorter of the two, it's under 400 pages, whereas the other one is closer to 1,000 pages. I do think this one's going to be Elaine's story. And maybe that's mean because I don't like Elaine. And in my head, I'm like, look, even SJM can't make her look any better than she is. So I think that's funny. Maybe that'll be what happens. Or that's what I think. The subtitle for this one also is The Valkyrie Cycle Movement 1. Then the second book, or not second, I guess 7th technically, is A Court of Forgotten Melody, The Valkyrie Cycle Movement 2 and 3. And then the tagline for that is What was lost will be reclaimed. So here's what I'm thinking. I'll put the book so you can visually see them as we're talking. So first of all, looking at the covers for the second one, A Court of Forgotten Melody, I don't know how to say this. And if Becca were here, she'd be laughing. But the Stygian spiders from Throne of Glass and Tower of Dawn, that has to be what's on that cover, right? Can we all agree on that? So everybody thinks that this is going to be really tightly pulled in with Crescent City. And I agree with that. I absolutely think Crescent City is going to be huge here. I think we are downplaying how important Throne of Glass is going to be. Because I think Throne of Glass, in the timeline, I think Throne of Glass is the oldest. Now, I do think they're in different universes or dimensions, but I do think Throne of Glass is the oldest. It's more ancient. So I think a lot of things are going to stem from there. So I think everybody's saying at least read Crescent City first. You have to read Crescent City. I think you need to read all of them. And here's my thing with that is better safe than sorry anyway, I think Throne of Glass is going to be way more important in the next two than we initially thought. Everybody was like Crescent City, And I agree. I do think Crescent City is also going to be super important. Let's not downplay Throne of Glass, though. I think it's gonna sneak in there. The runes, it's all connected. Bryce needed runes. Aelin needed runes. I want to say runes came up in ACOTAR. Maybe not as in your face, but they were there. So I think you should also read Throne of Glass. Now, I know absolutely nothing, and I can't say I've really deep dived the way that some of these other like podcasts or Instagrams have, because I really truly like to go in as blind as possible. So these are all like my top of my brain, like things that come to me. So maybe they're theories, maybe they're just ideas. I don't know. But these are not super deep compared to what you can find on other channels for sure. But I do, like I said, Throne of Glass, going to be more important than I think any of us think. Now, especially those freaking spiders. And those spiders go back to Valg because of Maeve. I think Amren is going to also tie back to Throne of Glass, specifically Maeve. She might be one of the sisters. She might be Valg. I don't really know. But Amren's going back. She's going back to... She's not going anywhere. But I think she's going to tie back in a Throne of Glass. Because she always talks about how old she is and how powerful she is. I think she's Valg. I don't know. I thought that when I was reading Throne of Glass, because I read ACOTAR first. So I do think she's going to tie in there and she's going to be important. Amren's just too powerful to just let her be what she is in this. I don't know. I just feel like she has a story and we're going to get her story in these 2 books. One of them, maybe not both, but one of them, we're going to get it. I just feel it. I feel it in my bones. Next, these are in no particular order, guys. I just wrote them down. Things I would like to see in the next 2 books that maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know. I want more of Eris. I have said that he is like my hear me out, guilty pleasure villain. I love Eris. I don't think he's a villain. Unpopular opinion, I think he is better than we are supposed to think right now. That's what I hope. I really want to see Mor and Emery get together. And I really want to see more of Bryce and Nesta together. And I do think that'll happen. I think Bryce is somehow going to tie in with the Valkyrie group. And I think they're going to kick some ass together. Mor's also probably going to join that. Amren's probably going to join that. I've seen on the internet people not wanting Feyre to be like just a background character anymore. I don't care. She's a mom. Let her live her best life. I don't know. Like, she'll be there and that's great. I just don't think she needs, like, people are like, you can't have her go from the main character to like a background character. And I disagree. I think you can. I think naturally she's going to put her child first. You know, I know it's a book, so I get that. But I just think, like, if you're thinking to make it more realistic, I think that she will take more of a background. And that's fine with me. I don't really care. I did agree. I saw somewhere, I don't want Rhys to be the savior. I don't think he needs to always be the one to come in and fix everything. And I don't want him to be. I'm kind of over him. He's not Tamlin level for me, but I'm over him. I did hear, so I pretty much only care that Elaine doesn't end up with Az, right? I don't really care. I have my theory that she's going to end up with Tamlin because SJM talked about some big betrayal. I just have a feeling that she's going to end up with Tamlin. She just seems like the kind of person to just do that shit, you know? But at the same time, I remember the line, and I forget if it was her thinking it or if she actually said it out loud, but Elaine says she doesn't want to mate, she doesn't want a male. And I'm almost like, is she going to be gay? Are her and Mor going to be a thing? But then I don't want that because I really want Mor and Emery. But I don't know, maybe, right? It could happen. I just remember that line, it stuck out. So not now, but like going back and thinking of my theories, it's like one that I'm like, maybe she doesn't want a male anything. Like maybe she just hates men. I mean, that not hates, but maybe she's not interested in men. So that's a theory. I don't know. That's not one I came up with. That's just one I've seen. Another theory, and I really will die on this hill unless Gwen's mom lied to her. Tamlin has to be Gwen's dad. There's just no other way around it. Like I said, unless her mom lied and her father's not a High Lord. But she's what? 23, 22. She's in her early 20s. And every other High Lord's locked under the mountain. So it's got to be Tamlin. I think it's Tamlin. I'm pretty sure Tamlin is her dad. Sucks for you, Gwen. Next, I think Az's mate. Here's the thing with Az. I think his mate might have been Rhys's sister. Now, if that's not true, then I hope his mate is Gwen. However, you don't need to be mates to end up together. So even if his mate was Rhys's sister, I still want him to end up with Gwen. I will riot if he ends up with Elaine. It's just too tied up with a bow to have all 3 bat boys with all 3 sisters. I also just think Az deserves better because I don't really like Elaine. I don't mind if she ends up with Lucien. I think Lucien also deserves better. I really like Lucien and Vassa. And with these books really centering around, I'm going to say his name wrong, guys. I know it. Kosechi? Maybe. I don't know. Somehow she's going to get free. So I'm thinking that they would be a good pair. I don't know. That's just a theory. I don't know. Next, I do think the Illyrian warriors, like the actual war camp, they're going to fuck shit up somehow. They're not going to stay loyal to Rhys. I just know it. I mean, they were already getting so, at least they're going to like not maybe civil war between, because there are some people who follow Cassian, but like a lot of them don't. And I feel like something's going to happen there. And that's why the Valkyrie are going to be like real important. I don't know. Is that a stretch? I don't think so. They really didn't like Cassian in Silver Flames, and they kept getting real mad with him. So I do feel like there's something's going to happen there. Something. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the betrayal. I don't know. As I'm saying them, this is why it's like all over the place. Because as I'm saying them, more thoughts keep popping into my head. But yeah, I think they're going to rebel, at least some of them. I don't know. And then my last like theory, if you can call it that, it's like my half thought, is that I guess it's more of a question. Did Bryce awaken Kosechi? I don't know how to say that name. I don't know the timelines, like how they all, like obviously we know that the last Crescent City took place after the war. So maybe this is irrelevant. Maybe she didn't wake him up, but we know it took place like 4 months, I think, after Cassian and Nesta's wedding, which was the end of Silver Flames. So also we could put away the theories that they didn't actually get married. I know people thought that because you couldn't see it, but that was not one I ever thought. So maybe it's irrelevant. Maybe the timelines don't match. I don't know. See, this is the thing. People it's like, if you look at, or if you listen to some of these people, they definitely have those boards set up somewhere in their house of like, with the strings connected, like the detectives. I have not done that because I really do want to go in as blind as possible. But I have some theories naturally. You know what I mean? I really, like I said, my biggest theory that I've come to, or I don't know if it's a theory, my biggest conclusion is that Throne of Glass is going to be way more important. I keep saying that. Maybe Amren, I know, I feel in my bones she's going to tie back to Throne of Glass somehow. Maybe she's a witch. Maybe Nesta's a witch. And then maybe they're both witches. And then they can it's not going to be the 13, but maybe they can do something. I don't know. I'm still so sad over the 13. Maybe they're both witches. I don't know. Elaine, I don't really have many theories for it. Like I said, a couple about who she's going to end up with, but that's really it. Those are like my big ones. I'm excited. I'm really excited for them. I'm excited to see how wrong I am on everything because I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in a lot of these. Like I said, Tamlin being Gwen's dad is like what I have the most confidence in. I do also stand by another Tamlin theory that I have that's unrelated to these books, is that Tamlin and Amarantha were mates. And that's why he hated her so much, because she was so evil and he didn't want to be mated to her. But it has nothing to do with anything. It's just my other Tamlin theory that I stand strong on. I think, here's one that I didn't say. I think Rune and Rhys, therefore Bryce and Rhys, are related. I mean, I guess technically Rune could be on his mom's side. So I do think they're related. I feel like is obvious. And so if it doesn't happen, I'm going to feel so stupid. But I feel like that's pretty much already written out. It's already said without actually saying it, if that makes sense. So I do think that's a big one. And I think Rhys's sister is going to be pretty important. I want to say that, I forget their names, but when in Crescent City, when they're talking about the world splitting, I do think that's how ACOTAR and Crescent City universes came to be. Or I don't know. I have to refresh my memory before I give too much of that one, make it too wrong, because I just have a feeling. But I think Rhys's sister was one of the 2 daughters, basically, that had whatever. I just think Rhys's sister is important in the Crescent City timeline. Let's just go with that, okay? Because I can't figure out how to say it. I think Rhys's sister is really important in the Crescent City timeline. I think Rhys and Rune are related. And again, Rhys never says his last name, his family name, which is kind of weird. Why not? But I don't think I know Tamlin's either. Has Tamlin ever said his? No. I don't think we know any of the High Lords' last names. The only one I know is Archeron, off the top of my brain. And I know, Bryce and Rune give theirs. And in Throne of Glass, they give theirs. But it is the High Lords. I don't think any of them have said their last name now that I'm thinking about it. But I could be wrong. I know Rhys for sure, but I can't think of any of them. So maybe that's a thing. I don't know. I do know, on the Call Her Daddy podcast, that SJM said, people theorizing some of the stuff that they had even before these 2 books. She was like, I've never even thought of that. These people are going crazy. So that's why I'm maybe none of this is going to happen. Maybe none of this. We all have no idea. That's why, I find it so funny when people do these deep dives, because, she outwardly says, she never even thought of some of the things that we're thinking about. You know what I mean? So who knows? Who knows? I'm so excited. I can't wait. I should put a countdown on my phone. No, Cassie, it's fine. It's in your calendar. You're fine. So obviously really excited. I know this kind of popped all over the place, guys. It's just how my brain, it's just like a hamster wheel of ACOTAR right now and all the theories and all the things that could be happening. I'm really excited about it. Hopefully some of these made sense in the way that I said them because, again, I'm getting too excited talking about them. So I'm just like zigzagging everywhere, but I'm so excited. So like I said, hopefully they made sense. Maybe when I edit this, I'll be like, Cassie, no, you got to refilm this. You can't do that to them. But I did like take notes. I'm not just coming in cold. Look, I have notes on everything, guys. I did it. I don't know. I get too hyped about it, I guess. It's the ADHD, maybe the excitement. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I got. Like I said, I don't have those boards that I think other people have of like the strings connecting. I should, but I don't. I already gave our 2 big events coming up, so that's exciting. And Becca will be back next week with us. So this is kind of just the reminder to like check out our social media, Instagram, TikTok, our website, check out AA Gordon. She was on last week. And then like follow our Instagram because that's where we do announce stuff. Like I said, we haven't technically announced Threshing Day yet, but we will. So it's fine. I'm going to keep it in. Yeah. So follow all those. If you enjoy this, give it a like, a comment. If you're on YouTube, if not, then just share it and rate it. That would be so kind of you. And that's all I got, really. So yeah. Until next time, stay cunning, stay brave, and remember you are your own high lady. Bye, guys.